hot topic for content creators. This is where I pitch a hot topic to you guys, and then you guys turn around and create your own content on said topic. And if you tag me in your video, then I may feature your video during a future broadcast. And this is the conversation art and artificial intelligence. I was tagged by Ian Kirkpatrick at Ian's channel, Kirk Patty Cake. Let's jump right into it. And Ian did a lot of prep. I hope you appreciate the amount of prep that I did for this segment here. I have notes. On top of notes on top of notes. All right, so let's get into it.
So I wanted to clear a few things up, and I wanted to actually try to have a discussion about this because, as we all know, having any sort of legitimate discussion on Twitter is kind of a fool's errand because very few people on there are actually trying to be genuine. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to weigh into the AI stuff going on with the people on there. And I want to talk about, I think there are at least 4 different conversations happening right now at the same time, which actually makes this a very difficult discussion to have sincerely, because you've got comments coming at you from every which direction about very different things that are not the same subject, but they are on the same topic. And so you can't really have a constructive discussion talking about these different angles on the same subject, because you're talking about legality and business versus moral and philosophy, and it just doesn't make sense. So let me lay those things out. And
yeah, so just a quick point on that. So it is like the whole thing, for unless you've been living under a rock, the whole conversation about art and these artificial intelligence generators is quite the hot topic as far as that goes. Now, when I say topic, that just means topic of discussion when it comes to just the topic of art and AI, like just those two in general. Now, that's the topic, but there's all these different subjects surrounding that topic that they don't like. That's where I think like there's, because it's such an emotionally charged conversation. So it's important to kind of like do your homework. It's not only a matter of just understanding, but becoming like kind of like a voice of reason, I suppose, whenever these types of conversations or arguments kind of arise. So that way you're coming at this and approaching it with some sense of discernment. So in other words, you understand where someone, because you're going to say, if someone's coming in good faith, if someone's a bad faith actor or whatever, you're going to want to have some level of discernment of understanding where somebody is coming from when they start talking about this art and AI thing. And that's kind of what I want to, my position here as I continue to watch Ian's video and provide a little bit of commentary.
And probably going to disagree, which is fine, because I'm not here to try to force anybody to do anything. But I consider this topic to be very important to me. I've always cared about art. My entire life has been the pursuit of art against everybody telling me that it's a waste of time and not believing in me and not believing I could do anything, even my own art teachers. Because they didn't like my politics. And that's another thing that comes up in this too, is people assuming my politics, my background, in order to mark me as somebody not to listen to. And it's the same thing that I'm sure the right wing has to put up with, gets tired of when they're labeled Nazis to be dismissed. Don't assume my political background in order to determine whether my thoughts have value or not, because that is the cheapest and smoothest brain way that you could go at any discussion like this, because you don't even want to address it. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. I don't think any of you are terrible people. Some of you are definitely terrible people. But I think what I've seen here is a lot of people emotionally invested and a lot of people continuing their culture war bullshit on this to go after the people that they hate and steal from them and spit in their faces. So I noticed kind of 4 main arguments that were being made at the same time. And it's impossible, if not unmanageable.
When you start an argument and you don't know where the other person is coming from, And because they might not know themselves, they might look at the art and AI conversation and think that it's just one thing. There's only one thing to talk about as it pertains to the art and AI. So they themselves might not even know. They themselves probably didn't even do their homework. But you, like, if you know you've been involved in the conversation for a while, you see all these different subjects popping up, and then it kind of like refines your understanding of the conversation itself. So that way, when you have that, you develop that understanding, it makes it so you don't get trapped in what I think you're trying to illustrate here with these people who have kind of like, you'll get trapped in this like argument of like circular logic, where it's like they're just, once you start to try to like talk about one subject, they're jumping onto a completely different subject on the same topic, but they're mutual, but those subjects are kind of mutually exclusive. But doing so not because they're trying to understand, but because they're trying to have a gotcha moment or something like that.